WNST, Towson, Baltimore. And as much as I don't dislike the Cats in Pittsburgh from last week, certainly not the media types which make my show great, it is the Cleveland media that keeps us in business here during Browns week. And my dear friend Munch Bishop, it's his turn in line to step into Baltimore sports media here and give me a little go at the 0-13 Cleveland Browns. Munch, tell me that the Browns and Deshaun Kaiser are not going to end the Ravens' playoffs hopes here by beating the Ravens in Cleveland this Sunday.
Now, bro, you know you're my family, okay? That's how much you mean to me. However, if they're going to win one and go 1-15 like last year, I could care less about beating the Bears. I guarantee you the Steelers aren't going to be using the likes of Landry Jones like they did last year to beat us because they're going to want to win out to get that home field advantage. This is the game, but not just because it's Baltimore, Nestor. It's AFC North. You're going to win one, win it this weekend, win it at home. I know 1-15 is abysmal, but you know what? It's an abysmal football team. And if I were you, when the Browns come away with the win on Sunday, guys should be looking in the mirror because I was told by some Packers assistants that they were nervous because they were told losing to the Browns would be a fireable offense for some of the assistant coaches, and they almost pulled that off.
Well, it's no secret that anytime you and I get together, the Browns are a mess, right? I mean, whether it's off-season, before the draft, after the draft, whether they're taking a Myles Garrett or a Johnny Football or whatever, but
that's all it is.
In the last week, they have fired their general manager.
Thank God.
Almost beat the Browns, or almost beat the Packers, I should say. And now the rumors start about Haslam promising Hugh Jackson the job and what John Dorsey would want, what these last 3 games represent. I know this. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser's not going to be the quarterback of this team next year, right? Like that's not where this is going to go. John Dorsey's going to want to go draft a quarterback, and yet again, there's turmoil there to some degree. Oh, and the owner might go to jail, too, but that's a whole other thing, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. In fact, it's funny because the FBI moves in the proper way. It might take a while, but when every T is crossed, every I is dotted, that's when they move. If you notice, little by little, people are saying a little bit more these days about what transpired in the Pilot Flying J headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee. So that last statement you made very well could be correct. Oh, next year I look at the quarterback room to be this: Deshaun Kaiser, a veteran, and a high draft choice. I wouldn't mind that quarterback room one bit sorted out from there. It's interesting, Nestor. I know he broke he broke his hand a week ago, but Josh McCown was on this roster, on this team. Team's doing a lot better with him still on the team, on the roster, helping these young quarterbacks out. Who's helping Deshaun right now? The quarterback whisperer, Hugh Jackson, or Kevin Hogan, or Cody Kessler? Abso-freaking-lutely not. And Brock Osweiler said he don't want any part of it.
Well, and then there's Hugh Jackson in the middle of this thing, who I think, it's impossible to not like Hugh. Obviously, he has some background here, some background in Cincinnati. He'd be out of work 5 minutes if this thing ends. He would get a job as an OC or quarterback coach or whatever. I know he'd like to see it through, but at this point, the record is 1-28. He'll be 0-16 at the end of this if the Ravens somehow win this week and the Bears don't stub their toe next week. So I don't know how you pitch promise. And they're going to have $100 million of cap space in the offseason. They're going to have draft picks. They're going to have 2 picks in the top 5 maybe before it's all over with. I mean, they just recycle this again and again. At some point, maybe they'll get it right. I'd like to think, though, it probably starts with the owner now working on his 5th administration in 5 years.
Bro, here's the thing, and I will tell you this. Jimmy did say that Hugh was the head coach. There was a power struggle, no doubt, and Hugh won out because his record is as abysmal as the drafting record. So maybe Jimmy liked him a little bit more. It wasn't blown smoke. I look at it this way. The way Sashi got his gig is Jimmy was stranded in the hood. His car broke down. Sashi drove up, with DePodesta and Barry, say, hey, you want a ride? Well, he was desperate. They took him for a ride. But I'm going to guarantee you this. And again, can you believe everything a lot of owners say? Absolutely not. Can you believe less of what Jimmy Haslam says? Absolutely. That Hugh Jackson coaching his team in 2018 is written in pencil, not in ink. And if anybody would get ticked off at Jimmy Haslam if and when Hugh gets fired for going 0-16 this year, then you know what, man, wherever Jimmy goes, back to Nashville, back to Chattanooga, whatever, back to Knoxville, they can go with them because that would be ridiculous. Yeah, you know what? 3-13 got Chudzinski canned. Heck, Pettine's records weren't that bad, but boy, some way, somehow, they're locked into Hugh Jackson. Just blows my mind.
Mark Munch Bishop has been doing it for 4 decades in Cleveland. He was suffering. He was suffering some more. Then we stole his football team, and he suffered more. And then they finally had a parade, thanks to LeBron James, the local product out there. And, I've had some tribe talk this week. I mean, I know it's baseball winter meetings and all that, and Machado, and I know you might want to get into all that, but I'm going to stay on point with the Browns. Then I'll let you get some baseball in, and we'll kick you around for losing to the Yankees and all that stuff as well. Myles Garrett, real? I mean, is he going to be part of whatever the good things that happen in Cleveland in the future?
Do you know what, man? There are times when I've said absolutely. Now, he's been hurt 4 times this season, but Nestor, bottom line is, against the Packers, I did not know that he was on the field, and sadly, on that Adams touchdown to end the game, he tried to arm tackle him. I mean, Adams isn't the biggest man. Put it this way, he's not as big as Garrett. And the bottom line is he tried to arm tackle him. Adams spun him around like a freaking top, spun him around like a dreidel. And so that shocked me. That bothered me. Almost looked as if, wait a minute, oh, man, we're going to be 0-13. I don't want to get hurt. Let's hope that wasn't the case, because until then, he has shown glimpses. And when he is in a game, I know that Emmanuel Ogbah, before he got hurt, was a little bit better. So every indication is yes. However, he's got to be on the field, and you got to play hard every play.
Munch, we played a little game on Sunday night out there in Pittsburgh, and gave the game away twice at the end, and see him with Roethlisberger with the silver in his eyes of going to Minnesota, and now the Patriots lose on Monday night. It's been a weird time, I think, for the Ravens. It's been a really strange season in a lot of ways, with the knee, with various injuries and problems, but they've proven to be a pretty resilient bunch at this point, even at 7-6. And the one thing I would say is the Ravens are an ascending team. They're getting better as the season goes along. So for that, I am grateful, but I am very, very interested to see how they're going to respond after Pittsburgh, the late night, the disappointment that I saw in all their eyes at the end of the game, to see if that resolves going to come out in Cleveland, because I know I'm at the game with you every year out there. Every year I get together with you at halftime, and it feels like every year at halftime the Ravens are either losing or in jeopardy of losing out in Cleveland. I don't expect this week to be an easy walk in the park against an 0-13 team. It never is.
This is the one. If you're going to draw a line in the sand and you're the Browns, I mean, you come close, that only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, correct? But the bottom line is they want to get one. They want to get one in the division. No, it will not be easy. However, when you look at talent and you look at a team that's playing for something, as Baltimore is, they should be able to dispatch it. Remember this. The Browns shocked us all on Sunday, but keeping it close. Usually by the start of the second half, they fold like a cheap accordion, okay? When you're in Cleveland with the Polka Hall of Fame, besides the Rock Hall of Fame, you got to use the accordion reference.
Whoa. Say that again. You always teach me something. There's a Polka Hall of Fame in Cleveland?
Polka Hall of Fame over on East 222nd.
Whoa. My wife's going to learn. I mean, that'll get her on the plane to Cleveland if I tell her that.
Right next to Euclid High School, the Polka Hall of Fame.
Cleveland Polka Hall of Fame. Look at clevelandstyle.com is how to find the website dedicated to the preservation and promotion of polka music, the happiest sound around. I love it.
I mean, polkas are me. Polkas are me, man. I'll teach you some steps with that, too, to get you and Jen Strong dancing away.
Is that the Softball Hall of Fame attached to that?
Softball Hall of Fame is there, too. Come on, baby. We don't have step here on the North Coast.
And I thought I was just going to go to the Christmas Story house this week and shoot my eye out or something.
You got to do it. When are you coming in, Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay, you'll have plenty of time on Saturday. Coming in early?
I'm thinking it through, yes. I can't come in late. I mean, it's Cleveland, Munch. If I could sneak in and out, I would. I did that in Pittsburgh last weekend. The flights don't work that way.
You can't sneak in and out here. This is your second home, no matter what anybody says.
Well, the girls did love me out in Berea and Parma back in the day, but, since this whole, team that can't win came back and stuff, it's not an attractive trip to come out there. How many people will be at the game on Sunday? Because somebody said to me, well, the Ravens bring fans with them. I don't know, man. I don't know. We've got the knee going on here. We got 20,000 empty seats in our own stadium. We've kind of given away our home field advantage. We haven't had a home field advantage all year, Munch. We have not created a false start as an opposing crowd this year, and that's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the knee and the reality of these troubled times in our here nation, right?
Well, bro, let me hit you with this, is that on Sunday, the crowd, and if it's what do they say? 73,000 that fit in there, and that standing room only going to put mid-70s. Bottom line is, looking at it was more filled than the last few games at about 45, 50. However, 20,000 of them were Packers fans. If you listened to the game or even watched it, you could hear the Packers fans cheering and hooting and hollering. That's how many of them were in the stadium on Sunday. So we'll see what happens. And I usually notice an abundance of Ravens fans. We'll see. It is the last home game of the season for the Browns. The last two are on the road. Kids are starting to come home from college. Even my three that are gone from home now is like, hey, can we go to the Browns game? Oh, yeah, just buy tickets outside the stadium. You'll be on the 40-yard line, 5 rows back behind the bench for $5.
$5 is what it's going to cost to get in. It'll be partly cloudy in the mid-30s in the land of Cleve. Mark Munch Bishop is a legend in Cleveland radio. You can follow him out on Twitter at Munch Cleveland. 38 years he's been doing it out there. I'm only at 26 here at this point. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at King Discount Liquors, Lottery, Beer, Booze, and the best prices in Baltimore. That's a guarantee. Get the Rosedale and give the King a ring. Tell Paul King we said hello over there. Also brought to you by our friends at Costas Inn. Good enough for the Today Show and my mom. The fat crabs, the tasty crab cakes, the cold beer, the pit beef, the bands on the weekends. The legend continues. CostasInn.com. Say hello to our friends Pete and Nick down there and tell them we're looking forward to seeing them soon. Had my Dundalk High Hall of Fame maneuvers down there a couple months ago. Munch, let's get a little baseball in here before I go. I'll let you brag on LeBron, but I know the Warriors are going to win anyway, so I'll bug you about that in the springtime. We get together on the draft.
This is the year for the Cavs, and you know what? This will be right now. We're seeing them right now. That this is the greatest Cavs team we've ever seen. A little bit aging at times, but LeBron James off to his MVP season, playing like a kid right out of high school, except with 15 years experience.
Well, you got one parade under your belt. Who knows? But maybe the Indians will give you one. It's certainly been close. It is of the time. I've talked to some Indians. I had Jim Rosenhaus on earlier this week. We talked a little bit about the tribe. And, I'll just say this about the Indians. It's different from being the Orioles. We're about to burn it down here and probably should. And that's a very, very difficult thing on the back end of not winning. You guys are very much in the middle of this. You got the pitching, you got this young talent. Need to sign Lindor and the rest of these guys more long-term. The Orioles need to be looking to Jonathan Scope right now and figuring out this Machado deal. But the Indians, I don't know off-season, is there anything they could do that would make you say, yeah, that'll put us over the top after the Angels get the kid from Japan, the Yankees deal for Stanton? I don't know what the Indians can do that would be splashy here other than keep their heads down and continue to do what they've been doing the last 5 years since Shapiro left and you've had new management take over there in Antonetti.
Well, bro, number one, you keep the pitching intact, which it will be intact, so you can't do much better than that. It's pitching. If I had the 95 Braves rotation, I still would have been nervous looking for more pitching. But if they keep their own, although I don't know how much they want to keep Carlos Santana, very low ball offer, 3 years, $36 million. I heard it was 3 for $39. He needs at least 3 for $51 to stay or to go somewhere else. But you keep those guys and take it from there. That's really all they need to do. Health of Bradley Zimmer coming back, health of Michael Brantley coming back. Kipnis will be gone. Mickey Callaway at the Mets already looking for him, and we'll see what they can get for him. But they don't need to do a lot, especially with that pitching staff.
Munch, appreciate you, man. I know you're doing a lot of stuff out there. Tell me about your network again, because I know there's a million things going on here in the middle of the season. I'll send everybody out to find you out on Twitter, but I know you're doing a whole bunch of cool stuff out there. You had a nice little run here going with Ohio State, didn't you? Enough to complain about, right?
Hey, no, you know what? The Buckeyes did not deserve to be in. I said that when I lost to Iowa, and I am the preeminent Buckeye honk, shill, and homer, okay? But yeah, we've got the Munch on Ohio Sports Radio Network hitting about a third of the state, Nestor, from northeast Ohio down to central Ohio into western PA. Those are my people now. The Browns fans and the Cleveland fans in western PA have a voice in that part of the country. The bottom line, it's been a heck of a good time, and it should be interesting because in 2 weeks, Nestor, we're going to give it a roll. I'm going to be doing mornings exclusively in Columbus from 6 to 9 and turning around doing my network show from 3 to 6. Hey, why not, man? You got to put the pedal to the metal.
Whoo, 6 hours a day. I mean, you're almost halfway to how much I'm working.
I don't work, though, bro. You do. I don't.
Only 168 hours in a week. I only take up about 160 of them here on the station, so it's all good. Munch, always a pleasure, man. I love having you on, and I look forward to seeing you this weekend. And I tell you what, if I'm going to go to the Polka Hall of Fame, I probably should do it with you. So, I mean, you will be getting a future text from me.
You may do that. And a real quick note, I should have told you, when I was telling you the price of Browns tickets, 2 weeks ago, the big school state championship high school game was $8. That was the weekend of the Browns that you could have picked up tickets for $6.25, any seat in the house. So just goes to show you our priorities.
Well, you love high school football. Friday night lights out there in the great state of Ohio, right?
You got it, brother.
Munch, see you soon, bud.
Take care.
Munch Cleveland is the way to find Mark Munch Bishop. He's our pal. 4 decades now of doing it out there in the land of Cleve. And, of course, the Ravens trying to keep them winless at 0-13, moving them to 0-14 this weekend. Any breaking news that happens, Luke is on the backfields in Owings Mills with all things purple for you. And, of course, the winter meetings going on down in Orlando for Major League Baseball. You'll get it all first on the WNST Text Service. That is all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And, of course, Dennis will be here on Thursday driving you home from 3 until 5. It is the SSV on WNST. We got our morning newspaper that comes to you in your email inbox free of charge digitally every morning at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Always $10 a month, never any commitment, PlanetFitness.com. Last but never least, anything you want to find that you miss here, you can listen anytime you want in the buyatoyota.com audio vault. Pick and choose your favorite interviews. That's the way to do it. The buyatoyota.com audio vault. And you can download the TuneIn Radio app and listen live from anywhere in the world. It's all brought to you by buyatoyota.com in the middle of Toyotathon. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook, as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.